Welcome to Hassey Savage Information Guide to Hex Rotary Broaching. Hex rotary broaching can be performed on multiple matching applications, for instance CNC machine centers or transfer machines. For the purpose of this material, the procedure will be performed on a computer numerical controlled turning center. To complete this procedure, you will need the required tooling: broach holder, hex broach, magnetic base adjustable indicator for bench setup, coaxial indicator gauge for CNC machine setup. Before we begin, let's discuss the purpose of the broach holder. The broaching holder serves two functions. One, it holds the broach tool in free spinning bearing. Two, it places the broach tool at a 1-degree angle relative to the center line of the workpiece. There are two types of holders that are commonly used with the broach tooling: the Swiss broach holder and the rotary broach holder. The non-adjustable Swiss broach holder. The advantages: easy to set up, no adjustments needed, designed for speed, and designed for smaller applications. The disadvantages are it's limited to 28mm length broach sizes and limited to specific Swiss-style machines. The adjustable rotary broach holder. The advantages: allows for vast broaching capabilities, designed for speed, and designed for larger machines. The disadvantages: somewhat difficult to set up, requires adjustments, limited to vertical and horizontal machining centers. This setup can be completed on the machine, but for efficiency we recommend completing it offline. First, position the shank of the holder into the end of the colleted fixture. If necessary, turn the fixture to increase or decrease the size of the opening to adjust to the size of the shank on the rear of the holder, into the fixture, and turn the hand wheel to secure the holder. Loosen the two set of screws on the front of the holder. Insert the hex broach into the front of the holder backwards with the circular end facing out for ease of indicating. Tighten the two screws to secure the hex broach in place. Retrieve the indicator gauge and position the tip of the gauge on the end of the broach. Zero the indicator before gauging the setup. Turn the hand wheel on the fixture while watching the indicator to determine if the broach is aligned on the center with the shank of the holder. Readings between .001 and .002 are acceptable limits. Readings above .002 are unacceptable and will require additional adjustments to the holder. There are several adjustment screws on the holder that may need to be adjusted to set the center line. There are two large Allen screws that secure the face of the holder together. Using an Allen wrench, loosen each of these. Next to each of these large Allen screws are 3 set screws. Each one of these set screws acts as a pivot point for the face of the holder. Using the Allen wrench, loosen or tighten each one accordingly. Re-gauge with the indicator and continue to make the necessary adjustments until the desired reading between .001 and .002 is met. Retighten the two larger Allen screws. Remove the hex broach from the holder by loosening the 2 set screws. Reposition the orientation of the broach with the hex head facing out. Tighten the set screws. This completes the setup of the rotary broach holder. Now the holder can be installed into the appropriate CNC machine for operations. Basic principles of the procedure. The CNC turning machine performs each of these operations on the workpiece before the hex broach makes contact with the workpiece. Face off the workpiece. Next, spot drill 90-degree chamfer to a diameter slightly larger than the maximum diameter of the broach form. Pictured as a Magafor tin-coated spot drill. Next, a drill bit approximately 1 to 2% larger than the diameter across the flats of the hex tooling drills a hole deeper than the desired hex form for chips. Lastly, the hex broach cuts the hex shape into the workpiece. How does the hex-shaped broach tool cut the workpiece? First, the holder positions the tool at a 1-degree angle relative to the part center line. When the tool contacts the part, friction drives the broach to rotate synchronously. The cutting edge of the tool is kept on center and the rest of the tool oscillates around the part center line with a wobble effect. The 1-degree offset only allows the leading point of the tool to cut into the workpiece. While rotating and generating the entire profile, the wobble effect of the tool stimulates a cam-style cutting motion while shearing the shape into the part as it advances forward. Adjustable rotary broaching FAQs. What are the differences between rotary, wobble, punch, and index? Rotary. The tool shape is cut into the customer's part with spindle turning when using a rotary holder system. Wobble. The tool shape is cut into the customer's part with spindle turning when using a rotary holder system. Punch. The shape is cut with a spindle locked in a stationary position, and a broach is then punched into the customer's part. Index. A broaching process that involves a stationary spindle and a partial form of the shape that is to be generated. Once hole preparation is completed, the tool form is generated on a Swiss-type machine by making imprints of the tool to the proper depth, while the part is indexed properly to create the full form desired. In order to use a rotary punch broach, what else is needed? How do I determine which holder will work for my machine application? Can I use a collet system with a rotary broach? Can I use a collet system with a punch broach? What type of coolant can be used? To call and request a catalog, refer to page 7 of the Single Key Broaching chapter for contact information. Congratulations! This completes the informational guide to hex rotary broaching.